Some of the most satisfying gaming experiences come from those moments we learn without a tutorial in sight. It's time for some of the very best games that refuse to hold your hand. We all like a challenge. No matter what genre we like to spend our time in, nothing feels quite like tackling a problem head-on without any help whatsoever. It's a bit like letting no one help you with your yearly jigsaw at Christmas. Where would be the fun if other people found the side pieces? And that's what's important to recognise in video games. That while you could pipe a friend through your G733s telling you the best way to do things, there's a true joy in the power of discovery. Whether it's reaching new areas or just plain survival, games that don't hold our hands teach us something about ourselves. Speaking of, you can make sure you learn even more by hitting that subscribe button right now. So don't take my hand, and let's look at some of the best games that leave it to you to figure things out. If you played 100 or so hours of Assassin's Creed Valhalla last year, but didn't find it quite deadly enough, Valheim was made for you. This year's procedurally generated Viking smash encapsulates the joy of survival games and adds your friends, fur, and beards. 4 million players and counting can't be wrong. It's still very much in early access, and it kind of shows, but there's something about Valheim that's endlessly compelling. After landing in Purgatory, your Norse warrior needs to find their way out, but is going to have to start with a hoe before going anywhere near colossal boss battles. The thrill of discovery is too good to ruin here. Don't read too much, don't go to Reddit, just grab some friends and maybe some mead, and drink it all in. Instead of a lack of a tutorial, it's the regular RPG rulebook that Kingdom Come Deliverance tosses away in a medieval swamp.
You've no business here, clear off!
Suddenly, you're faced with a very different world to the one you're used to. You'll need to shave, keep your clothes clean, and generally manage ancient nightlife in a way that you've never had to before. But it's the intricacies and granularity of this world that makes it so rich to experience for the first time. Discovering that NPCs really don't like that you haven't washed in a week is a surprise that's half insulting and half joyous.
My lord, he's a peasant. You can't make a squire of a peasant.
And your actions, or well, inaction, have a genuine consequence. And it's this lack of guidance or direction that means you can truly have your own adventure. And when you do eventually wash, it's because you want to, not because it was on a to-do list of endless tickables.
Ow.
While mentioning Elite Dangerous is a great chance for us to talk about how you really need Logitech G flight simulation gear, Frontier developers' sprawling space sim is just like entering another universe. And in the same way that you needed a few guides for this one, thanks family and friends, you might want a helpful Sherpa already on the inside. Elite Dangerous is far too busy to get you up to speed with its ins and outs, but this means that the challenge of getting to grips with this world is all the more exciting. Whatever questions you have, where does this go? Am I allowed to do this? Can I just do this forever? Does this just keep going? The answer is usually yes, and furthermore, someone has made their entire Elite Dangerous life doing that very thing. Go on, find your spacey bliss. Alone in the dark, with only your tears for company, no one is going to save you. You're going to have to help yourself. The Binding of Isaac has evolved massively over the years as young Isaac continues to try and escape the endless basement of monstrosities. While the concept remains the same, avoid nasties, use tears as weaponry, collect new powers, Edmund Macmillan is obsessed with switching things up, so you never quite know what the rules are. What will this power up do when you combine it with this one? Should I use that sacrifice room? How are you going to spend those coins? These aren't answers that a quick Google can tell you. Only you can make those calls as you progress even deeper into hell on the quest for Mega Satan. It's like driving blind, but the Binding of Isaac always makes the experience worth your while. The Long Dark literally commits to no hand-holding in its description.
This'll come in handy.
But this isn't a confession to irritating edginess or hipsterosity. This is about the realities of a grim and murderous natural world. After years in early access, Hinterland Studio has created a poignant lone survival experience. While there's now a narrative mode if all that wandering is just a bit too existential for you, the pure adrenaline rush of heading out into the long dark's world is built on the unknown. There are no labels on where to find food. Sometimes only cabins entirely stripped of supplies await your desperate body as it shelters from the deep freeze. These are moments where you have to choose in a way that a guide really can't help, and weirdly, it'll make you feel much more alive.
I'm so cold. I just want to lie down for a bit.
Of all the games on this list, Phasmophobia is the one where you'd really like someone to hold your physical hand and not let it go, even if it would make playing it significantly more difficult. Yes, there's a tutorial to start you off, but this is a loose guide with no real suggestion as to what will come out to meet you when you do eventually head out on your very own ghost hunting expedition. You've got a torch. What could possibly go wrong as you investigate each room? Surely briefly reading over the purpose of each tool will be fine. No, the only way to survive is to die. Die with friends, die on your own. But each time you do, you'll learn what went wrong and what you'll have to do next time. There's no bad ghosts, just bad ghost hunters. Am I right? No, wait, that's a complete lie. One of the many incredible things about Don't Starve is the fact that despite its initial release being all the way back in 2013, it's been honing its survival skills for years. Through various add-ons and even a multiplayer option, Don't Starve is the opposite of hand-holding, but never in a frustrating way. Every procedurally generated world that you fall into has the potential for survival, and while you could always head to Reddit or read up on people's favourite techniques, nothing beats venturing out on your own to desperately start a fire and keep the monsters at bay. Every discovery seems random at first, but Cly Entertainment masterfully designs craftables that make life that little more bearable. The sense of discovery is at its richest if you shake off those fears of failure and death and just go exploring. Just don't blame us for what happens next. So that's some of the most rewarding games that don't hold your hand. Let us know the ones that you find the most fulfilling in the comments below. Drop us a like if you enjoyed this video, and if you can, entirely independently, move your hand over the subscribe button and then the notification bell. That would be great.